Hello everyone, welcome back to another lesson. And in this lesson I want to talk about for a bit when we are optimizing rules, right? How to create rules that are optimized and do not put too much constraints on the backend. So the first advice I have for you is, like we've seen in the previous videos, is to limit your usage of AQL detections. Most of the use cases you would have can be easily achieved with a built-in test. So make sure you pay attention to that. But let's say, for example, we would like to create a new rule, and let's say, for example, it's detecting only pfSense events, right? Just as an example. And then we can go ahead and type in filter, right? And we can choose the first option. And we want to filter on username. Let's say contains any of, and do admin right here. Plus hit add and hit submit. So now we have a rule that targets only events from pfSense and only if the username contains any variation of admin. Now let's go ahead and add source IP. Go ahead and give it some random address here. And let's say I also want to filter by destination IP. 2.2.2, right? And let's also add another filter here. Let's go ahead and select, for example, let's choose an interesting one. We can go ahead and choose, event ID, right? For example, assuming that event ID is an actual field inside of pfSense. Do equals any of 1. Okay, so in our current example, we have a rule and we want to think what would be the best way performance-wise to have our order of the tests. So like I've said in the previous videos, you need to think about rules as a funnel. So a funnel begins with the largest volume of events, and then it shrinks down as your tests progresses to lower volume of events. So let's say, for example, we're going to take the first test we have and we're going to drop it to the bottom here, okay? Now, this is an example of a badly tuned detection, because what it does is, first of all, it's looking for event that matches admin in the username. And it's going to search for that condition in all of your different log sources and log sources types, because you don't specify anything before it, right? You specify it at the end, right? At the bottom right here. So it's going to go ahead, match for admin, and then it's going to match the source IP, and then it's matched the destination, the event ID, for example. And only then it comes to the pfSense filter. So it's going to do all of the work beforehand for waste, because you could have brought up our detection of pfSense to the top spot right here. And now you tell the rule that, hey, before any other search that you do, limit it only to events from pfSense. And then it basically shrinks down the funnel. Now, it would also make sense to move the event ID to the second location, right? Like this. Because then you shrink down the funnel even more. you say, okay, limit my search only to pfSense. But then I still have a lot of different types of events, right? I could have event ID 1, I could have event ID 100, I could have thousands of different event IDs. So if we do it like this, it doesn't really make sense, because again, you're telling your detection to look for admin before you limit your event ID. So it makes more sense, performance and organization-wise, to limit first to pfSense, then to your event ID, and then either to username or your different IP filters. This one doesn't really matter as much as the previous two. But the point I'm trying to bring home is that it's really, really important, both for your own sanity and scaling-wise, to make sure that you treat your detections as a funnel, right? So you want to filter out the largest volume of events, right? pfSense is the largest detection here. Then from all of the event IDs possible, you filter it only to this singular event ID. And then once you have only events with event ID 1, you're actually performing your searches, right? So this is, for example, a rule that is tuned correctly because it follows the funnel example. So make sure you guys follow that advice in order to make your deployment faster and your rules more manageable for the long run. And so far, this is the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.